Let's get this started out. Like everybody's been waiting on me. Welcome to the Tuesday. It's Tuesday, May 27th. What are we? Tuesday, July 22nd. I'm looking at the old meeting minutes here. We will board. Well, first item would be to take a look at the minutes from the previous meeting, which was May 27th, 25. Is that right? And I would entertain the discussion and motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the previous meeting minutes have been approved. With that, then we have one item of new business today, and that is public hearing for Sandra Ratz Thompson. The address is 2106 33rd Street. She's seeking a special exception permit to operate a hair salon from her home. The Plan Commission has approved the initial request for the matter to be heard by the zoning board at a public hearing, which is today. I'm assuming everybody's speaking for or against has signed in. Mm-hmm. All right. The floor is yours to discuss your plans.
So we're new to Bedford, and I've been a salon owner for over 25 years. And I'm wanting to put a salon in my home here in Bedford, with hoping that I could kind of do it on a smaller scale than what I have in Bloomington. As far as it would just be myself. It would be a one-station salon. It's a small space that would accommodate any requirements for zoning or the health department. It would have a separate entrance, restroom, and like I said, it's just myself. So we live approximately 300 feet from Washington to the city alley on 33rd Street, and then it's approximately 300 feet from the alley to our driveway, so we live back off of the road. I don't feel like traffic would be a problem at all, considering it would just be myself. I'll be working in Bloomington part of the week, and then I'll also would like to work from my home, 2 to 3 days a week as well. But we have plenty of parking at our home, and I don't feel like it's going to bother any of our neighbors in the fact that when you turn off of Washington onto 33rd Street, there is only 4 driveways on both sides of the street that any of my clients would pass by to get to our driveway. So I feel like everybody else on the street would not be affected by this whatsoever. I would only have 1, possibly 2 cars at a time, and that is if a client would show up early or I'd be running a little bit late providing the service for someone. But other than that, I want to keep it on a very small scale. And like I said, it's just going to be myself. So, and I feel like being the fact that we live back off of the road, that it's not going to interfere, or none of our neighbors will even know that it's there, essentially. There'll be no changes to the outside of the home. There'll be no signage. I have a pretty good client base, so there would be no reason to advertise or anything like that. So, any questions for me?
Are there any questions? Many of the boards heard this, has already heard this, right? Obviously. Passed to this board.
What'd you say, Matt?
I'm just talking about planning already. You guys have heard about this. Yeah. So, are there, I guess, are there any other questions? No? For Ben?
Well, I would like to ask one question, because this is just something that I think Brenda has weighed in on. Are you guys on a septic system there? Or are you hooked up to the city sewer system?
Citizen.
Okay,
It's a lift station.
okay.
You know,
As far as the health department goes, Brenda, I mean, that's what satisfied you then, correct?
Right,
Oh,
right, yeah, the sewer department didn't believe you were, so
oh, yeah.
that
It was a
satisfies
septic.
me,
It was a septic, and they've installed a lift from the septic tank to the
because that's
city.
quite a way. It must be a good pump.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
well,
a
great.
2 horsepower pump.
That was my only concern.
Gotcha.
That's it. Okay.
No, and if it was approved, that would be the only thing that you would have to hook on the sewer. So
Okay.
that would be my only concern, so I'm fine.
Okay. Have there been, I mean, are there any safety concerns that you have as far as where it is and the traffic we're talking about? Yeah.
Not that I can see,
I mean, I drove by,
they're on a platted alleyway, that's an alley down to where they live. One, maybe 2 extra cars. Not necessarily that I can see, but
And it doesn't matter to, I mean, as successful as you're gonna become, you don't foresee so you can't hire, I mean, it not be classified as a class 1 structure. You're not gonna be able to have any employees. So you're not planning on putting any employees on, just be yours
That's
alone.
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
just myself.
okay, thank you.
Is there any, I got a question, is there anything from the state, being a home-based business like this, being a hair salon, working with the public, is there anything that they need to be passed by, anything that has to do with the state or the inspection process for anything that would clear them to be able to do this there?
I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I mean, what your license is to be.
Yeah, I can
But
answer.
as far as the state doing any inspections on places, I don't know if they do.
Actually, the state board, you have to be a licensed cosmetologist, and then I would also have to have a license to have the hair salon, so that's something that I have to apply for separately. And then what they do is they come out and inspect the salon. Once it's up and ready to be inspected, then the state board comes in, they inspect, and then you also have to show proof that you have all the proper permits and everything that is required.
And zoning approval.
Yes. So they kind of work hand in hand together.
And as we remodel the space, it's gonna be ADA compliant too. Everything will meet ADA requirements.
Kevin, on the letters you mailed out, was there any pros or cons?
I received one phone call from Chris McDonald that lives at 2200 33rd Street. And he said he didn't have a problem with, his exact words, has no problem with someone working from their home as long as what they're doing is legal.
I don't know. So that was it, is there, and then nobody speaking against it? Oh,
Ms. Webster wants to speak.
yes, okay, very
She's
good.
one of our neighbors.
Certainly, please.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And this is nothing personal. I've never met them before, so, not by age, but by longevity. I'm the oldest person in the neighborhood. I've lived there longer than anybody. As of July 14th, that was 59 years. 33rd Street is a one-lane road. It's a dead-end road. And I kind of live in the middle of it. My back part of the property connects up to the back side of their property. I do have concerns about the traffic that will be added by adding a business to a residential neighborhood. There are times when you would think 33rd Street was 16th Street. I don't know where the cars go, but there's tons of cars. We already have, it's not a business because it's not zoned that, but we already have a gentleman that owns a plumbing business that has put his supply warehouse in the garage across, catty corner across the street. So there's already extra traffic on the road from that. Anywhere of a morning, there's 3 to 5 cars, along with heavy equipment sometimes. And then those cars come and go throughout the day as they pick supplies and stuff up. So there's already 3 to 5 cars plus potentially 3 to 5 more throughout the day. So that's a bunch. I don't know what the actual planning is on how many clients and stuff she's gonna be seeing through a day or how many hours she's gonna work. But I had kind of heard through the grapevine through other neighbors, it was gonna be 3 days a week. And depending if it's a 6 to 8 hour day, which I'm kind of assuming, the beauticians that I know can see usually up to 4 people in an hour, kind of depending on what they're doing and what they're going. So in a 6 to 8 hour day, that's anywhere from 24 to 32 cars being added to 33rd Street coming and going, potentially. And I don't know, again, I don't know what her clientele is. This was just my numbers. That's up to 72 to 96 cars a week. When you pull into 33rd Street, again, it's a one-lane road, and there's usually only one car that can be at the end of the road to get in or to get out. You have to stop on Washington Avenue to get turned in. That's a concern. It's a concern now whether there's a business there or not, because again, 33rd Street can be a very busy street for whatever reason. So I do have traffic concerns about that, even though it is just, it's not too far on 33rd Street. And again, we're a residential neighborhood, and I'm not real thrilled about having a business on our street. I'll just be open about that. I think that just kind of opens up for lots of other things. And I know not too long ago when Adam Chasteen wanted to build the housing addition, that's Lucy Lane, which is at the end of 33rd Street. That was at the Fish's old property. I know the concern then was that they couldn't access that from 33rd Street because 33rd Street wasn't a big enough street to accommodate the extra traffic. So those are my concerns. Again, nothing against the neighbors. I've never met them. So, but I do have a lot of concerns about the traffic on 33rd Street. There's a lot of kids on 33rd Street now that we didn't have before. So there's just, for me, there's just lots of concern. Anything else you want from me?
Are there any questions?
No questions from me, but I do have a comment when my time comes around, and then we have to determine if indeed I should even vote on this. But
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well,
Can I just say one thing to these
Please.
concerns? Like I said, we've never met before. Nice to meet you, by the way. I know as far as your numbers, some hairdressers are, they run them through like an assembly line. I realize that. I know people who do that, but I am not going to be doing that. I'll have, if I work 3 days a week, on the average, I'll have maybe 6 cars, and that would be the most from start to finish. A lot of people come in, they don't just get haircuts. I, do services for color and perms and things like that, which can take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours for one person to be at the salon. So I just wanted to kind of address that too, that I can assure that I'm not going to make an assembly line of this at all. So I've been a hairdresser for a long time, and I'm very blessed that I don't have to work that hard and that fast like a lot of them do. So I just want to address that.
thank you. Okay.
my turn?
Please, yes.
Okay. For you folks, Sue knows me. My name's Steve Kimbley. I live at the end of 33rd Street. It dead ends. Everything Sue said is correct. It is a glorified alley. It's 1 lane, 1.5 at best. There's probably only 2 spots that you can actually pass. I've lived there now for 32 years, I guess. I understand and agree with Sue that extra traffic is problematic. However, when I moved in years ago, there was a beauty shop right next door to me. I'm at 2527, I'm 2528. 20, it was a house, and the lady had a beauty shop. And I know it was never licensed, certified, or anything. And there was traffic through my driveway. It got to that house through an easement. So we saw that. And Sue remembers who I'm talking about. I bought the house and tore it down when those folks passed away. Anyway, that at the time wasn't a big concern with traffic. There was another lady at the end of the street named Ethel Fish. Mel, you may remember her. Her house burned. It wasn't hers anymore, but lived back at the end and up the lane, and they tore up 3 fire trucks. Getting into that. And every Tuesday night, and Sue remembers that traffic, she had her we always called it the old ladies card game. And we'd see the lights come over the hill and go, oh, the old ladies are here. And we all laughed about it, including Ethel. That was kind of her entertainment. And that really didn't hurt anything. The folks that live on the street know that it's crowded, they know it's narrow, and yes, you have to stop and you have to pull over and let people pass. The Lucy Lane issue that Sue brought up, that whole project adjoins me. Unfortunately, I should have bought the field when I had the opportunity, and Adam bought it and built the houses. We get a lot of traffic on that road for people that do not realize the street doesn't go through. And I discovered GPS sends some of the, especially the vendors that are bringing in materials and stuff, their GPS brings them down 33rd Street.
Because they don't realize 33rd Street crosses Washington Avenue behind Dollar General.
Yeah. So there's a lot of confusion, and there's significant traffic, more traffic than there used to be. And there are kids. We have kids that don't live on 33rd Street that roll up and down the street on their motorcycles. And we have to watch out for them, and we know that. We have some of the traffic, Sue, is head down my way at that trailer that the Shaws lived in. There's some stuff going on there, and Kevin's probably aware of that. We have the police visiting every so often, and that's traffic, and it gets blocked and stuff. So it does happen. This house sits back, the house in question sits back off 33rd Street, and it's only about 150 yards down 33rd. Now, there is a sign at the top of 33rd that says no outlet. Right. Nobody sees. But it sits just 150 or so yards down 33rd.
I got a big truck, so I'm used to, I got to pay attention.
Okay. And then it sits well back off the road. In my personal opinion, and Sue may disagree, I don't think that other than the 3 folks up at the top of the road would see an increase in traffic. They wouldn't get down 33rd any farther than the driveway unless they're lost, and that happens a lot. So just from somebody that's resident there, everything Sue said is correct, and everything that these folks said it is correct. It's not a long trek down 33rd to get into their driveway. I do have one question. Are you guys, with that drive, is that an easement or shared with Chad? Because I know that same drive goes down to the log cabin.
This little she shed.
Okay.
She shed. No, our property line is after Chad's last little turn to get into his home.
Okay.
It's pinned just after.
So to get down to that, you have an easement to down Chad's driveway, or how does that work?
It's just
Wide an alleyway that runs from 33rd to 35th.
yeah, city alley.
That's a city street,
Yes.
City alley.
a city alley.
Yes.
There's a new one on me after 30-something years. I thought that was just a driveway. So, okay, so your property then cuts in behind the turn into the she shed where she has her sales and stuff. And that's another thing. There's a little shed here. You can see it on the drawing, and Mrs. Faust has yard sales, especially around Christmas, a lot of stuff back in her little cabin. And they're 1 and 2 day affairs, and that draws a pretty good crowd for those. They don't get down my way until they get lost and have to turn around down there. So I guess with that being said, everybody that stated their positions has been absolutely correct today. I personally don't see a problem with this as long as this board would determine that this variance would only be for this application. If the house would sell someday, I would want that variance to go away in my mind, just to stop it from becoming something that Sue is concerned about that gets bigger.
It's not transferable.
It's not a transferable thing, no. Because this is a special exception, true.
So just for information, that's my 2 cents. And Matt, Kevin, you guys can determine if I have a vote in this. I'm not adjacent to the property, but I am affected by it.
Honestly, I mean, that would be, I guess, a board decision. I mean, I don't think if he's not directly adjacent.
You're like a
He doesn't
neighbor
have
in
a
favor.
business relationship or a,
And that's completely up to him,
I think-
I can concern.
no, yeah. I mean, I appreciate you weighing in on it. These are things you wouldn't know. I mean,
I just want to be transparent.
No, I appreciate the transparency. I honestly don't believe that there isn't a relationship beyond that and you aren't an adjacent property. I don't see you in conflict of view.
I don't see any conflict
We
of
could say
interest.
that, we could say that anybody in a neighborhood that is not directly affected. I'm fine with that. Okay. I'm fine with it. Is there any other, are there any other questions or concerns or discussion before we entertain a motion on this? All right. Brenda, do you have any? Well, I would entertain a motion at this time.
I'll make the motion to approve, and it'll just be for them. And if they move or something, it goes away.
So I have a motion to approve the special exception with the caveat first that it is not transferable.
Second.
I have a second from Mel. So do a vote, all in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So with that said, the special exception is applied for, has been approved. Appreciate everybody's time, information, concern. That's it. I would entertain a motion at this time. No other items to
Make the motion, we adjourn.
I have it about seconds. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? They're gonna be here by themselves. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Good night.